Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Just Georgian Show. It's been a while since I've done a video actually in person, so welcome back. I've been doing RoboCop, Rogue City. It's like a RoboCop inspired game. It's like made between like the first/second movie. Like there's references to both movies. I've got Matt Edmonds back with me. He was with me for the A to Z video games that we did.
The last 3 hour.
Yeah, the 3 hour one. So this is probably going to be another 3 hour one.
Yeah, get a beverage because this is going to be a long one.
Yeah. Well, we've got snacks here, got drinks, so we're all ready to go.
We have drinks, food.
We have enough to survive this.
Power.
We have enough to survive this storm that's currently outside the front.
Its arse on us.
It's awful, but luckily we don't live in the west because it's getting.
It's
getting hammered.
Wales is about to be blown the other side of Sweden.
Yeah,
at the moment,
Yeah, but how you been, mate? You alright?
Yeah, not bad. Been busy, you?
Yeah. Likewise. Hence why I've not been doing as many videos in person. The video game ones just seem, I've said this many times, but they just seem easier to do because you're all comfortable in your bed, you've got your headphones on, and you're just playing a game that you're loving to play. So whereas this requires another person, it requires us getting... Oh, we've not actually said what we're doing today. We're doing A to Z movies. The beauty of this being live is there's no editing or anything. It's just we're doing it. A to Z movie. So we're doing basically the rules are our 3 favourite movies from each letter of the alphabet. And if we don't have more than 3, then we just move on to the next one. I've got a couple like Q, for example. I've got 1. I don't know about you.
Q, I have 1, 2.
So
maybe.
that's. But then you got some letters like an N or an S or a T.
S, A, D.
Yeah, they're gonna have loads. So
we'll probably end up making up for what we haven't got on some.
Well, we'll try and do it because it's an even number of letters. We'll do maybe. I'll go first with one of mine, then you go with one of yours, and I'll go with one, and we'll do that.
Yeah.
You want to do it like that? Yeah. So let's start off, guys. Because we are 2 minutes in already, and we're not even started. So, the letter A.
Letter A.
My first one is Aliens.
Right, now.
So, you got the Alien franchise, obviously, but...
So you prefer the second one?
I prefer the second one. Yeah.
Why?
More action-y based, rather than the suspense.
It's the first one.
Yeah, so like, I prefer, like, my sci-fi horror to be more action-orientated than, like... I like horror movies. I've got a couple of horror movies on here, but I feel like I like more action. And when I saw it was James Cameron, I always get him and David Cameron confused.
What, the MP?
Former Prime Minister. You know when they go, evening Prime Minister? James Cameron, obviously Terminator, which we'll get to. But when I saw he was directing it, because obviously these movies came out way after I was already born.
Yeah, there is a definitive line with films, isn't there? Because how old are you?
96.
You're 96. So I'm 85. So
there's a difference.
So you're going to notice. You're going to notice that some of my films are. I mean, let's get this out of the way now. I find that there is a definitive line with films. So when I was a kid, films that were coming out. I mean, Terminator's what, the first one, 79?
No, 84.
Oh, is it? 84. Yeah, Alien 79, isn't it? Sorry.
Alien, Alien 1
so
is 79.
Even
Ridley
then,
Scott.
Yeah, even there when we're looking at things like Alien, when I was born and I was gradually, becoming like in the double figures as it was, and that was like 95, 91. Terminator 2 had only been out 4 years.
Yeah.
None of the new ones had happened, none of the series.
91 was Terminator 2.
It was Terminator 2. Yeah. And then when you look at things exactly like we're saying, films of the 80s, which we look back at quite fondly now, where there was no fashion, no style, no
anything goes.
That we call the 80s.
It was literally throw it all into a vat and see what happens. That allowed for creativity. That was a bit
So when
it's
you
sometimes
look at
handicapped now.
Yeah, so when you look at that now, when I was 10, 12, and the point where you're gradually now starting to take things in.
Yeah.
Christ, Sonic had only been out 2-3 years.
Yeah. It's mad when you
we only had the Mega Drive, we only had the SNES. Yeah. We didn't have PlayStation at that point.
Yeah.
PC gaming, really, if you were doing creative stuff, you were still looked down kind of Command and Conquer kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then when you think about that with films as well, this entire Harry Potter thing didn't exist.
Yeah.
This entire Marvel thing didn't exist.
Yeah.
So
you had offshoots of the movies, like you had a Blade,
which
or
we'll probably go into at some point. But it's kind of cool that
you
we've
didn't
got
have
two
the whole
different...
cinematic universe.
No, it didn't work. It's not that it didn't work at the time. I think we'll mention it at the time. Yeah. Mention it at the time.
Aliens.
And I'm going to throw a few questions towards you. Sure, grill the host. I'm going to throw a few things at you as we go through.
Aliens, as we've said, 1986 movie. Very good. Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver,
an amazing, like, this whole thing about there's not female leads anymore is absolute bullshit. It was. I was just
about to say, can we swear on this? But it's bollocks.
Yeah. You can swear on this one. Just don't use the C bomb. That's all. That's the only one I don't like. The C bomb.
What's that?
It ends in a T. You can fill in the blanks. She's a fantastic female lead. Like even in the first Alien movie, she's great. But this one,
Now, Alien is the one that I put down for me, and it's a nice kind of intermingle with what we did with the last video. Because one of my favourite games ever is Alien Isolation.
Oh yes,
and it's another one of those things where I know what you were saying about, but I like that suspense ghost ship kind of thing. No, I love that.
An atmosphere.
Yeah, and it's 100%. So atmospheric. The game's atmospheric. The music's right. Again, music's Jerry Goldsmith, and the cast again Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah. We had the guy whose name's eluding me, but he was the bad guy in Live and Let Die.
Yefet Koto.
Yeah.
That
knowledge. That's why you're here. That is why you are here.
Oh, it's another one of those franchise. But that's what I think. What I like about Trek, Wars, Potter. They have films where if you're not a big, because if you look at the first Harry Potter,
Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, it's a bit
childish.
Yeah,
it's aimed, like, the thing is, right, this aimed for children is another thing that's bollocks, because how can it be aimed for children? Like, there's jokes in, like, Toy Story or in Shrek or in The Incredibles where people, if you're a kid, you wouldn't understand them until you're an adult. So I don't like made for children. I like the rating family, that they give it to a U, which is universal, which means anyone can watch it rather than aimed at kids. Because there's some kids movies.
Yeah, well, there used to be a while ago. There used to be You with a little C in the corner. Yeah, and that was for kids. There wasn't anything underlined.
Certification.
Yeah, that was certification.
Yeah, she had U, PG, 12A, 15, and 18.
I mean, there are some films which I think are a U even now, and I'd be like,
like, what do they class Indiana Jones? Like, that is not a kids' movie. The guy's fucking face melts off. Like, but someone will go, "Oh, that's like a kids' movie."
Oh, it's an adventure film for the family.
Yeah, a family. Yeah, that's another one. Family adventure movie. Like what? So Indiana Jones, where he fights the literal bad guys of World War II.
There's a bloke hanging off a cliff.
Yeah,
and he'll be like, "Oh, darn, I may die."
Indiana Jones in the first movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, holds a rocket launcher. Like. That is a weapon of mass destruction.
But that's another thing where you've got to look at the premise and the whole run of the film. Yeah. Because if you look at, quite famously, right, if you IMDb it or anything like that, you read that Indiana Jones, what's the one with the Nazis, is it?
Oh, there's the first one and the third.
Yeah.
And then technically the fourth, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
But while they're trying to fight, is it Last Crusade?
Last Crusade, yeah. They're in Last Crusade.
Yeah, so, and the one while they're trying to find the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, that's Raiders of the Start, the first one.
It doesn't matter that he's there.
No, yeah.
There is no point to Indiana Jones.
That was Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
They mentioned that. Yeah. If you take Indiana Jones out of Indiana Jones: Raiders of the Lost Ark, it literally makes no difference.
It makes no difference to the film.
No.
He's just a bystander.
They would still find the Ark.
Yeah.
They would still open the Ark and they'd all
and
die.
Their face would still melt.
Yeah. But the thing is with that theory but someone else could find the Ark. That's the thing. Whereas if without Indy, they wouldn't be able to put it in the story.
In Whereas 13.
Yeah.
So
is Alien your first A?
Alien is my first A. Now that I have.
So I feel like we've mentioned so many letters already.
We've gone all over the gap. It's gone wrong, and we're 9 minutes in.
Yeah.
There's a few that I would say. Right, go for your next one.
Anchorman. Hilarious movie.
Good film.
A lot of mine are comedies that are in here because I just love comedy movies.
Yeah, I like.
They're just easy watching, aren't they? Like, there's not like they don't like make you go whoa. Like they're not like you don't the credits don't roll. And you're like, fuck.
I think
they're very like they go start, middle, end, and they wrap it all round.
I think that comedy. I think this is another beautiful thing with the media format that we call film. You can watch something and take no notice and still have a laugh.
Yeah.
Or there are films where there's little bits where you go, I've never noticed that before.
Yeah.
If you look.
I feel like, if you watch it in cinema rather than watching it at home, sometimes, because the screen's bigger, the atmosphere. Like, I went and watched Saw, like, I think, for Halloween, so October.
Yeah.
And there's little things you're like, fuck, like the scene, there's a scene in Saw where he's using the camera to find out who's there. Like, it's all dark, and then the pig face comes towards the end, and it's just that atmosphere of that, and like what you're seeing and stuff. You don't get the same if you're watching it at home. And there's like loads of lights on or whatever because it's like night time.
There is a lot in this media and again, I'm assuming at some point we will probably look at TV series.
Most likely,
but because there is a big difference between movie filming and TV filming. Big difference. Because movie films, there's they've got their lot, they come out when they're needed and that, and if they can't do a take, they'll do it again. They'll do it,
or they'll they can literally film the end,
sort it out in the
film the end at the start, and then work your way back. Or whatever.
Now TV doesn't work like that. TV works by a factor of literally 18-hour days, and you have to get an episode out in like 6 days. Yeah, that's it. Sometimes there is no possible retake and things like that, and it's littered with people who can do it and can't do it. I know you're not really a Trekkie, are you?
No,
you're more Wars. I'm more Trek. And there was an actress who was meant to play Janeway for Star Trek Voyager.
Right. Okay.
What's her name? I can't remember. Genevieve Bujold.
I can look at it.
Yeah, Genevieve Bujold, I think her name is, and she was meant to play Janeway. And basically, they got through it, and she was always asking questions about how they were gonna get back, what she was gonna get. Yeah. So now. She got sacked.
Who was it? Sorry.
Genevieve Bujold.
Is that who?
No. So the person who then took it over was Kate Mulgrew, who everybody knows as Captain Janeway.
Right.
But she wasn't the original person for it. And the reason they changed it out...
Oh, so this original person was never actually on camera?
Yeah, they got as far as being on camera for testing.
That's why it's not come up on Google.
Yeah, and they
it's not going to come up on Google.
No, and they actually got halfway through filming the first episode, Caretaker.
Right.
And she just would be knackered by the end of the day and things like that. Whereas Kate Mulgrew was used to TV filming. Yeah. But Genevieve Bujold was not. She was a film actress, very good actress. But it's very different. It's very, very different. Yeah, and that's another thing, actually.
You do see a lot of movie actors not do television because of...
There is that. And that's why I think we've generally got this kind of middle ground of TV movies.
Yeah, not
only because of people who are in it, but budgetary.
Like Stranger Things. Some of their episodes are movie length.
Mini movies, yeah. Again, Trek has always done mini movies. Yeah, and everything.
Like TV, they call them TV movies.
They are TV movies, yeah. But I think, going back to what we were talking about, this is what I was going to say to you, because weirdly, my next one is A New Hope.
Okay, yeah, Star Wars. You're allowed that. I didn't know. Yeah, I put A New Hope as my N. So
yeah.
It's the same with but that's one less I need to talk about now.
So we can do that now if you want to.
No. Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. No, I mean talking about A New Hope.
Because now, when they were out, when they came out. Of course, it was a bit of a cult following, and then it turned into what it is.
Yeah, a lot of movies go through that as well.
A lot of movies go through that.
Like one that I haven't watched, which you probably got as maybe your S, is Shawshank Redemption. And that at first, it's like not that I stumbled across it rather than knowing, but like the fact that it kind of bombed, didn't do well. I think Morgan Freeman said it himself. Like it didn't do well box office wise, but then people watched it again and were like, actually, this is really good.
But movie. Again, it's another one of those things which will pop up through mine quite a lot. And in actual fact, I might even for Kay have just put Stephen King as a thing to talk about. There's a lot of his things.
The wind. Yeah, it's blowing the washing line about. You obviously can't see this. Guys,
it's a tad windy out.
We're looking into my garden.
And in actual fact, it's so bad to the point that next door's
washing line is coming
in his
garden.
Yeah.
terrible. But,
Yeah, but no. So Stephen King films. I mean, the one that I went with, where you've gone Shawshank, was Green Mile.
Right. Okay. Yes.
And Green Mile, they are not really feel-good films.
No.
But the stories are unbelievable.
And it's the acting as well.
Again,
it makes it believable.
I mean,
what
yeah,
you're seeing on screen.
the person who plays Percy in it, who's a little sod in it, to be perfectly honest, you generally want to deck him.
Mm.
And you've got the guy, bless you, I don't think he's no longer with us now, but the guy who plays John Coffey in that, who's Bear.
Yeah,
in Armageddon.
Yeah, I don't think he's.
I think
alive
it's a
anymore.
double-barreled name, but a big fella, bless him.
Yes.
And apparently a lovely bloke to work with, and no longer with us anymore. But again, him,
I think,
and of course Tom Hanks. There's a lot of people in it. That's Shawshank.
Yeah, he's in. Oh, Green Mile. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Fucking idiot. Yeah, look, he literally comes up straight away.
Yeah.
Michael Clark.
Michael Clark. Douglas? Duncan, that's it.
Yes. He was in 2.5 Men as well.
Was he?
Yeah, he passed away in 2012. I didn't know it was that long ago. He was only 54.
He's been gone 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He. I think Jake, like Alan's son, dates his daughter in one episode or a couple of episodes.
Okay.
I'm not a massive 2.5 Men fan.
I haven't watched it for quite a while.
I've watched like pretty much all of it, but I'm not a super fan. I'm
Right,
no character names and all that,
yeah.
but I know he's definitely in it. What else you got for A?
Right. So after A New Hope,
Yes.
which again,
I think Star Wars is going to be ebbing and flying through
Yeah.
this, so I don't think we need to.
yeah, we don't have to go.
But yeah, A New Hope,
Yeah.
1977.
Right. The other
breakout
thing,
movie.
the other thing I've put up. I mean, there is a film there that's in my top 3 that I love, but I was going to mention Avengers.
Oh yes, yeah. I'm literally wearing a Batman top right now. You can see it in the camera there. So you can see my take on. I've watched the first Avengers movie. I've not watched Age of Ultron, Infinity War.
Age of Ultron,
but I
really,
know
really
of
liked.
them. Like you can't be a living person right now and not know anything about the MCU.
Yeah.
Unless you literally cut yourself off from
Yeah.
any movie,
Now,
TV series,
again,
video games, anything.
Yeah. Now, again, my problem with Marvel, when I was a teenager and that, we had the first spout of Spider-Man come out.
Yeah. The Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Yeah. And the first one come out and we were like, that ain't bad actually.
2002.
That ain't bad. And then the second one come out with Doc Ock.
2004.
Yeah. And we were like,
Yeah, the second one's better than the first
it's
one.
brilliant.
Yeah.
And then the third one come out and went, oh no.
Yeah. I think the third one, though, suffers from what a lot of movies suffer from. Is like too many cooks in the kitchen.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Too many people writing the bloody thing or having their ideas put into it.
Yeah.
But the other problem was I mean, there is the Venom thing and everything, which has gone through.
Oh, yeah. Venom, like Tom Hardy's Venom.
Yeah.
Like compared to...
And that's that one idea. And it's a brilliant film.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant film.
And it doesn't take itself too seriously either, which is
it
good.
doesn't, which
and
is
that's what I
good.
think Marvel has now down compared to DC.
Well,
Apart
again,
from the Suicide Squad.
yeah, again, now going back to the thing with it, Spider-Man 3 come out, and by that time we were like, we'd ridden the wave of Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, this is brilliant. And then we had the big problem of Elektra, Daredevil,
Yeah.
Hulk,
X-Men.
Incredible Hulk, X-Men. X-Men I didn't mind. It's definitely a product of the
it's-
early
it's
thousands.
my
isn't
ex.
it? Yeah. X-Men I didn't mind.
It's my
But
only
during that
ex.
time, there was a lot more fails than there was.
Yeah.
And
But there
kinda
wasn't
gave-
as much of a pressure now.
No.
I feel like at the moment, right? I don't know if you feel the same. Like, I don't obviously watch the movies, but I see X movie comes out. Let's say Miss Marvel or whatever it is. It comes
So
out.
Miss Marple then.
Yeah. It's on ITV3. You know that channel that's still somehow alive. Miss Marvel's, and
Yeah.
it's like, box office bomb. Is it the end of the MCU? And then another movie comes out, and it's an absolute hit, and it's like the MCU has now been revived. It's like it's too much pressure on just something that's
The problem is, and I've heard this quite a few times now, it's now got to the point where Disney has got involved with it all, doesn't they?
Yeah.
And the problem is that the amount they're putting into them for the amount of people there are in them. Now, roughly what you've got to remember with films is that if you sit there and they go, well, the film was made for 50 million.
Yeah.
That's a really low figure.
That's a low figure.
Yeah.
I
But
think
let's just
Terminator 1 was like...
Yeah.
Tens
But let's
of
just...
millions.
I mean, even back then. So once you've done that, not only have you got to then double it, because you've got to advertise, merchandise and everything, promotions, pos, all that kind of thing. You've then got to pay the actors.
Yeah.
You've then got to pay the actors. Now, it's roughly, from what I've heard, I don't think a Disney film has made its money back in that kind of thing.
Probably since like...
From about Finding Nemo.
Oh, really? Oh. That far back?
There is not a lot in the bank at Disney.
You sure, like, Force Awakens, like, and Last Jedi... Billions
the actual
in box office.
From what I'm told and from what I've read, the one that's done the most isn't actually part of the thing. It's probably Rogue One.
Right, yeah.
Because Solo tanked, didn't it?
Yeah, Solo tanked. Rogue One was...
Solo tanked.
Rogue One was well received, but at the same time people saying, oh, it was a bit dark because it has, like, not really, a great ending because...
No,
obviously...
Yeah, obviously it then leads in... Yeah. There's going to be a lot of spoilers.
The people that go to get the plans don't end up,
And again,
alive.
I mean, early Disney films have this kind of either make you a princess or a baddie.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, the best way I can...
Most movies in general are good and bad guys.
Yeah.
Like good versus evil.
I think a general consensus is you talk to a lot of people, you talk to a lot of kids, or a lot of women and that, and they'll be like, oh, I love Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And you're like, hang on a minute, if you actually look into the actual story of Beauty and the Beast,
it's
he's a beast because he's an arsehole. And then you realise, along comes Belle. Hello, I'm Pretty Belle. And Beast goes, it's a bird. If I can get her, I can break the curse.
Yeah.
And then you've got the one bloke, okay, he's your typical Jin who's a bit of an arsehole, but he's still generally fond of Belle. He has all these women around him that he turns away. He then gets all the village, including her dad, and goes to the castle to get her back.
I can't say I've watched Beauty and the Beast, so...
And then the Beast hurls him from the roof.
Everything you're saying, I'm taking as your word rather than actually knowing.
It's that general switch around where you're like, hang on a minute, I'm cheering for the wrong person here.
Yeah. That happens in quite a few movies, but like I think some movies it works in their favour. We'll get to them, but like, it works in the movie's favour because if they were actually like more morally, like, See,
this is
morally,
the problem. This is the problem.
That
he's actually written his out properly. Mine is just scribble.
Oh, mine's an Excel spreadsheet that I printed off. Yeah, so hence why it's got like the rows and borders. Yeah. But I do like when a movie's not just the generic good guys versus the bad guys. Like, there's a bit
got to
murky,
think of it.
It's not black and white. It's a bit grey.
Yeah. Again, purely because of. I think there are certain series as well. Oh, there is the one thing I mentioned, just to make me feel old. Back when we come out of Gable Hall School, American Pie.
Oh, yes.
Now, American Pie...
I didn't think so. That's the thing, there's loads of movies that you're going to say, or I'm going to say, you're going to be, oh, shit.
Yeah, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, but we had that with the games, didn't we?
American Pie.
Now,
American Pie 2 is my favourite.
American Pie 2 I love.
Yeah.
And the 3 was good with the dancing scene.
Yeah,
Stifler and
what the fuck is
I mean,
this,
that's
a dance song? So good. So good.
And the reunion's quite cool as well.
Yeah,
the reunion's
the worst one though, but still good. It's got elements of.
It's got elements of the old 3 in it.
Yeah,
and I think there's about 8 of them, isn't there?
Oh yeah, if you don't count the ones that are not with the original cast.
Yeah. There's about 8 of them, but them 4.
Well, apart from Jim's dad, I think he's in them.
He's in all of them, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think? And
just a payday, I think.
Yeah. But that has been re-released by I think it's Arrow on DVD, but they've just re-released it for its 25th edition.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. I'm like, what?
Yeah. American Pie. 1999.
But again, it follows an old series that used to be out in the 70s and 80s, certainly 80s, but it was called Porky's.
Right.
And that was the same kind of thing. Growing up, teen parties, cars.
Yeah, it's like that trying to find yourself sort of.
Yeah. A teen coming of age comedy kind of thing.
Yeah, coming of age. That's the word.
That's got everything: cars, music, babes, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Probably
a movie that wouldn't get made today.
No, I don't suppose it would. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't suppose it would. I mean, there's a lot of films on my list.
Yeah, same here, mate. Yeah.
Probably wouldn't get made today.
Same here, yeah.
Probably because I am the age I am.
Or it would be a great idea and someone would somehow fuck it up, sort of thing. You know, like, oh, yeah, we could do this.
There would be like, if you took it to someone, they would think about it.
If
you take this out, if you took it to Disney, they just went, no.
Yeah, just stamp no. Yeah, Bob Iger just goes, no.
It'd get made by somebody who no one has ever heard of.
Yeah.
For about £30.
And then it would be just a Netflix.
It would
straight to Netflix movie.
But again, I think this is, and again, it's something I'll probably bring up later. That is the Potter against Lord of the Rings. Everybody sits there, oh, it's better than Lord of the Rings, or no, Lord of the Rings is way better than Harry Potter. But you've got to take it with some sort of.
I think you've got to take age into account as well.
Yeah, you've really got to realise
that.
Age
into account.
Well, I mean, look at the first film of Potter.
You would like Lord of the Rings more than I like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Because I like Harry Potter more than I like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was born when the first...
Exactly.
I was 5 when the first Harry Potter movie
Exactly.
came out.
When that came out, that first film was built pure... But you've got to look at the two. The first two, just for differences.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Basilisk in the second one.
Yeah.
I really like
Petrifying
the second one.
people.
Yeah, I really like... And all of a sudden, that kind of where you've got... In the first one, it's bright colours, Hagrid, the castle, the train and everything.
Yeah, but that gets you into the world.
And
it's like it's the introduction in a video game. You know when it says like press triangle to jump.
Yeah.
You know, and then number 2's like you know the tutorial now.
I mean, when I was with like one of my exes, she was proper into the actual author was Darren Shan, and it was all what you would call young adult. It wasn't kid stuff at all. But it wasn't quite a thriller book. It wasn't full on kind of, bloody, I don't know, name a thriller author. Martina Cole, that kind of, blah, blah, that kind of thing.
I do. I can't say I'm a massive reader of books.
See, I read a lot. I do read a lot. Do read a lot. There's loads of books I've got to read. Clive Cussler stuff, I love that. Beck's given me a book I've got to read. Ice Twins, I've got to read that.
Right.
There's loads of stuff I've got to read. But yeah, anyway, digress. Lord of the Rings was written 8 years ago.
Oh my god. That is something.
And of course it carries on more because his son carries on a lot of the stuff that he didn't manage to publish.
I know, it's a long time ago.
There
1937.
Oh, there you are.
You're looking.
So we're now looking at about 90 years old.
Yeah, 87 years old. Yeah.
And again, there was a whole theory and mythos about it that he had for the world of Middle Earth. There are 3 main ages, of which Lord of the Rings, I believe, is in the third age.
97? Yeah, 97 years old. Sorry, not 87. I said 87. It's 97 years old. But yeah.
97? If it's 1937.
Oh no, 87. I was right at the beginning. Yeah, right. Sorry. I'm doubting myself now.
No, don't do that.
But yeah,
And basically, you had this whole myth. It's like there are people who go bonkers for the novels of the Star Wars and Star Trek and Doctor Who.
Yeah,
when there was, as I said, I got New Hope down.
Extended universe, I think they call it usually.
Which now some of it is canon, some of it is not.
Yeah.
Which again, if you're a Star Wars fan, you get a little bit miffed with because Disney does not count.
Some people want 7, 8, and 9. The episode 7, 8, 9 not even be part of canon. Like they hate it that much.
They will not.
Like I hate it, but I don't hate it that much. Like 7, I was like, oh, I'm excited for 7. 8 was like, I was more so excited. 7 was like Philosopher's Stone. It got me back into Star Wars.
Yeah, but you can't run the whole mythos of the merchandise off of that one.
You need
film.
8 to like establish something,
and I think that's
then
where
9 to round it all up in a nice.
I think that's where you see such a difference with. What is the second one? Chamber of Secrets?
Yes. Yeah.
So where you see
it's the longest Harry Potter movie. It goes on for almost 3 hours.
Now that's another thing. I think the length of those Avenger films and some of the other Marvel films...
Too long, too short?
It's too long.
Too long.
It's too long. You will get an adult sitting there watching it. You are not going to get kids sit there and watch a film for 4 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, how long's the Snyder version?
Oh my God,
Justice League. 4 hours?
Freaking hell.
And it was cut to 2.5 hours,
yeah.
I think, wasn't it?
Oh my God.
It's got to be 3.5 hours.
So the original was
242 minutes down to 160.
Yeah.
So that's 4 hours, 2 minutes down to 2 hours, 40 minutes.
2 hours 40. Fucking hell. 4 hours.
Now, here's another thing as well. If you really are watching films for a story, That's a lot of story on the cutting room floor.
Yeah. But 4 hours, depending on the movie, like
Depending
some movies are so good that you don't care the length of them.
No,
like
I mean, how long's Gladiator?
Gladiator. 2 hours 35.
Yeah,
That's the standard. That's the standard for a movie like that.
Yeah, that's an epic.
Which is
that's
on my list of not watched.
Bearing in mind, I think Ben-Hur. See how long Ben-Hur is?
1959 or the 26th.
Yeah, that's it.
3 hours 42.
Now that, for a film that was made...
1959?
Yeah, so that was made a film that's 65, 70 years old is a bloody long film.
Yeah. Yeah, it's surprising to see a movie that long ago.
Of that age.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I think...
Because some movies were made for 80 minutes, 90 minutes, weren't they? Like,
yeah. I think your standard comedy is usually about hour and 40, isn't it? Hour and a half.
Hour and a half, hour and 40.
I mean, that leads me on to what I've also got for my Ace Ventura. I loved those films.
Yeah.
I love
Jim
those
Carrey
films.
is
And
fantastic.
weirdly, I see the second one first.
Same.
I see
that's when nature calls. Yeah.
I love that one. I love that one possibly more than the second one.
Do you mean
the first one? Yeah. I know what I mean. I know what I mean.
Well, leaning on the comedy side again, my third and final one was Austin Powers.
Oh, brilliant.
But I didn't want to do I for International Man of Mystery or like S for Spyro Shagman.
Yeah.
So I just umbrellaed it as Austin Powers.
Another one of those things that goes into two routes that I really, really like. Another one of those, I don't know if it had been made today. If it was, it had been made slightly differently.
Yeah, some of the...
And I don't know if
some
it
of the comedy would not be allowed. Yeah. It would be allowed. Like Netflix, for example, allow a lot of stuff to fly.
Yeah.
Like, you know, these comedy specials that the comedians have, like Ricky Gervais, like, for example, he says some stuff where you're like,
but I think what you've got with Ricky Gervais is also another thing that you had in the 80s. Now, there was a series that was called Spitting Image.
Yes, I remember, yeah.
And Spitting Image basically used to take the piss out of anybody and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You were not someone...
No one was safe.
You were not someone unless you had a Spitting Image puppet. It's like, for them, it's like you weren't someone unless in the 60s and 70s.
Just reminds me of Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There were loads of people on... I mean, Christ, Genesis, Land of Confusion, it's filled with them.
I'm guessing that's a song.
It's a song, and the music video.
Genesis is Phil Collins.
Phil Collins, Mike Rutherford, and each of the band members has a Spitting Image puppet, and they're singing in it.
I like it,
but you never saw like nowadays. It was like this has happened, and you get someone on there going, "Oh, you God, how can you do such a thing? It's unbelievable."
Social media has destroyed a lot of...
exactly. Yeah. It will get to the point, I reckon, probably in about. Not so much for YouTube, I don't think, because that's kind of a wind. I mean, let's be honest, YouTube saved a lot of people during COVID.
Yeah.
It saved a lot of
YouTube
parents.
and Spotify.
Music.
iTunes Store. You know, things like podcasts.
All of that kept, which we are very, very grateful for. Thank you very much, Internet. However,
please don't pull this.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Other internet providers are available.
Yeah.
However, I think it will get to the point where there will be one person that has a point and write something down and go, this. Actually, this didn't. History is another thing. This happened in history. And everybody moans and goes, well, no, hang on a minute. That's a fact. It happened. Yeah. You will get so many people on social media who will go,
It goes back to my Marvel's, it's bombing, is it the end of the MCU?
You will get to the point when no one will listen to you.
Yeah.
You've typed wolf too many times.
I feel like some people, like, they don't like to see the other side of the arguments. They'll only watch people or listen to people.
You say don't, you mean won't.
They won't, yeah. They don't. Well, they don't, won't, same thing. They don't want to see or won't want to see the other side because they're so it's like the people, I hate 7, 8 and 9 Star Wars, and they'll watch only content that is against 7, 8 and 9 rather than watching why people like it. What I like to do is I like to watch both sides and then come up with my own, like, he's chatting shit.
That is exactly it. I think
they're right. They're onto something.
I know a lot of people that will go through things, interviews and stuff that's on. I mean, we say interviews and we go, "Oh, I watched a documentary," and you go, "You mean a 5-minute YouTube video?"
Yeah.
And they've come out that
Yeah, people won't watch movies; they'll watch a review of the movie.
Yeah, that is not
makes me
watching
bizarre.
the film. Yeah, that is not
so bizarre.
I cannot stand people to go, right, the redo of Resident Evil 2, the game, was shit. Have you played it? No, but I've watched a lot of... No.
The remake is terrible compared to the original. Have you played the remake? No, but...
Have you played the original?
No! Yeah. I played Resident Evil random, like, insert number here.
Yeah, like, why are you here?
Yeah. Why are you commenting on something that you don't know? But have you got any more A's?
I've got a couple of things, which again, we were talking about the yin and the yang.
35 minutes in,
it's going well. B's next, which is double as long.
Oh my God.
No, we'll get through it.
We'll have to quick fire. I think,
we'll get through it. But Airport. I love disaster films. And back in the 70s, there was a big thing about, let's just blow shit up.
Is that an actual movie called Airport?
There was 3.
Because I know Airplane.
Airplane, which is what I was going to say. Yeah. The spoof. I love a spoof film.
Yeah, same.
So, Naked Gun, Police Squad.
I'm actually about to just add one so we can talk about it later.
Right, he says about how long this is going to be and then he starts adding to his list.
4 hours? No, man, is it?
4 hours.
It's awful weather out there, isn't
I get it. But yeah,
Airport movie.
Airport.
Is it 1970?
70, that's it.
Yeah.
And basically what it was
thriller drama.
Yeah, there are 4 of them. First one, there's a bomb on a plane.
Oh my God. Yeah, again, you couldn't make these movies.
Yeah, bomb on a plane. Bomb goes off.
The threat of a suicide bomber.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The second one, there's another one which I think is the 747 crashes into a Cessna mid-flight.
There's more than one.
There's 4.
Yeah.
Then there's one which is Concorde, where something happens to Concorde, and then there's one where a 747 crash lands in the sea, and the plane sinks, and they have to try and get everybody out.
It looks like the Concorde is the last movie.
One, 77?
77 and
yeah,
then 75.
Yeah. So there's a whole... and in the 70s, everybody was like, I love watching shit blow up.
Right.
And that's what led to things like Terran Inferno, all that kind of thing, all that kind of disaster movie thing, which we still have.
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah. Well, war, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
it's still watching things blow up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But and then around that time, I mean, late 60s, there was a lot of stuff where there was spoofing going on, which is where Spy Hard, which is 80s, early 90s, Dracula Dead, loving it, Naked Gun, Scary Movie, like bringing it up to now. Yeah. These spoof movies are brilliant. But it's going back to what we were saying.
You said Naked Gun.
Going back to what we were saying is that if you're a movie fan, depending on what mood you're in, it's like people who sit there and go, I always say it about red wine, movies and music. They'll sit there and go, oh, I'm not into it. And you're like, no, you just haven't found the right one.
Yeah. That's a good analogy. I like that.
You just haven't found the right one.
Yeah.
I know a load of people go, I don't drink wine. Well, have you tried them all? Impossible. I know. There are people who try this.
Yeah. And they're no longer
with us. They're with us. They're just on a machine.
Yeah.
But, going back to what we were saying as well, you can't really poo-poo stuff unless you've done it.
Yeah.
You can't really review stuff unless you've done it.
Yeah, people though go, oh, I've heard that.
Yeah, I've heard things.
It's like third person, fifth person, 10th person source rather than their own due diligence on it.
Yeah. I think there's enough openings now, what with Netflix, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Amazon,
Apple TV,
and then Apple Music, Spotify, and all that kind of thing, for you to go, sod it, I'll have a listen. I'll have a watch and make my own mind up. Yeah,
because a lot of people, like, even at my work, they're probably watching this. They say, oh, have you watched this? Or have you seen this? Or I'm like, no, I haven't. And it's like, it's finding time to...
Yeah.
Like, if I was, like, right now, because I've watched, like, the odd ones of the MCU, going back to the MCU, it would take me ridiculous amounts of time to watch all of the movies.
Back to back.
Like, what is the MCU length? MCU movies length?
Well, we're up to phase 4, aren't we? I think
it would take you. Oh no! I need it like total rather than 68 hours and 36 minutes to watch all of them. 68 hours,
and that's without kipping. So it'd take you a week to go because you've got the first set. The first box set's obviously like
phases, don't they? Yeah. So phase 1, phase 2,
and that's what we're up to now.
So I've not watched these, but I know about this stuff because I care.
I have most of them.
I care because they're clearly profitable and they clearly love like university.
I don't think they're that profitable
Well, no, not anymore. But like Infinity War and
Yeah.
Endgame, like broke fucking cinema, didn't it? Really, it went mental for like its box office.
Yeah, it depends if you're looking at total for getting the money back, or if they just.
Yeah.
It depends on people turning up on the first day, or if you're looking at can we get our money back.
Well, Endgame
What do you
box
got?
office 2.7 billion, and it made its budget was 3.5 to 400 million.
That's
But
not
then
bad.
obviously that's with everything else taken into account in terms of like actors.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of people
promotion.
in these. There's a lot of people in these films, aren't there?
Oh yeah, and they're higher actors. They're not like just you got
No.
like your Samuel
But
Jacksons,
going back to the
etc.
disaster film thing, there used to be people in there who were like of their day, were gold cinema people. You know, and that's what now this Marvel thing has become. There's a lot of but it's weird because I mean there are some actors playing characters now who like at the beginning were like, who's this person?
Yeah, now they're
And
like
now they're
household
like,
name.
Christ, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people that are in like big budgeted TV series as well.
Yeah.
So, like unknown actors
Yeah.
become like overnight stars.
Yeah, I mean, I'll touch on that a little bit later when we get to a certain end. But the only other two films really for A that I had were Apollo 13, which I adore.
Right. Yeah.
I absolutely adore that film, Ron Howard. And again, historical, what actually happened.
Yeah.
And the other one is, even now, I've actually, like, Beck watched it, and one of her favourite films was Titanic.
Right.
And I showed her A Night to Remember. And A Night to Remember is kind of like, not the first, I don't think it's the first, but it's the...
1958.
Yeah,
My
black and white, and they sink... they
it's
sink,
Titanic.
yeah, they sink the ship.
You just love these
But I
horrible
just
things,
like, I
these
just like
disaster
blowing
movies.
things up. But this is before they worked out. So this is pre-1985, before Bob Ballard found the ship for real, and realised that the ship had broken too.
Oh, okay.
So this is actually one of the films where the ship goes down. It's a very dramatic film. It's very, very good. Very, very good. And depending on what version as well, I was talking about cuts, because it's going to go a bit dark now. Sorry, I am going to go there.
Okay.
There's a bit where the ship's gone down,
Right.
and one of the Irish guys has got hold of the baby, and he swims towards the lifeboat, and they're freezing, and he can't feel anything. He's just ticking over, and he pulls up. And Kenneth Moore, big film star at the time, plays Second Officer Charles Lightoller, and he's in command of the lifeboat, and the boat is flipped over.
Right.
And depending on which version you get, because it's cut from all the other versions, but he swims over, and he went, can I get on board now? Because one of the other people dies and comes off the boat, and they get him up, and he says, right, take the baby. Is the baby okay? Take the baby. Is the baby okay? And they literally have the baby, and it's solid as a rock.
It's frozen.
It's frozen, and they just look at each other, and he's going, look after the baby while he tries and pulls himself on board. But it's cut from a lot of the others because it's just too deep.
Yeah, it's too.
It's just too deep.
Yeah.
And this was the first real film that really went, let's go there.
And it's not deep in terms of like a graphic. It's deep
No,
in terms of
it's your mind fills in the
it's
rest of the
why.
blanks.
Yeah.
And you sit there and go, well, fuck being a soft film.
Yeah.
This is what happened.
But then back then there wasn't these regulators.
There
that
wasn't,
are now.
but you've also got to remember is that this is a time where people in it didn't really show skin. They didn't swear.
Yeah.
There's all that thing where basically if they were annoyed in it, you'd go, you damn well will, sir.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh, he fucking means it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was that kind of level. So with things like that, it was kind of like a, holy shit, this happened. And it's one of the first films. It's like a lot of the war films around the time as well, where they actually go, no, if we're going to tell the story, let's do it properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really like it. And now she prefers that more than Titanic. But yeah, Night to Remember. If you get a chance, watch it.
Yeah. This is why I've got the Surface Pro, because I do not know any of these movies. Should we go on to B?
Do you know what? Let's.
Yeah, we're 43 minutes in. Let's go to B. I'm just going to start off Batman. Batman 1989.
Yes.
I've put other Batman movies in around the letters because I think they deserve a mention, but Batman 1989, Tim
1989.
Burton.
Again, Tim Burton, yeah. So music's
92.
Danny Elfman.
Yeah, 92.
And Prince.
Yeah, Prince was for Batman Forever.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got the first one, you got Batman and Bat Dance
Yeah.
on the first one, which is Prince.
Oh, you mean the 60s, like TV series?
No, he actually encompassed it into it. So you get this bit of music that's ding 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 ding.
Okay.
Batman, and it's called Bat Dance.
Right. Okay.
And it's on the first soundtrack for the first film. But yeah, there's a couple of songs as well that's Prince.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Because there's a clubby bit, isn't there, in the city when you see the Batmobile go through, and there's bits of music in the background. That's Prince. Yeah, but again, I remember being at Abbots Hall School.
Oh, you mean like when Joker's like, because there's parts when there's music playing.
Yeah, that's Prince.
Like,
but you've also got the Danny Elfman School. Now, I had a teacher called Mr. Fewston when I was at the infant school at Abbots Hall, and when we used to go in for assembly, they'd play bits of music.
Right, okay, yeah.
So we're talking... Yeah,
same, but we had like, he's got the whole world, rather than like,
But while we were all walking in, they would play bits of music at the time.
Right.
So that's where I first heard Batman. It was his choice. Each one of our teachers got a chance to pick the music. Right, and he was a big sci-fi nerd.
Right.
Big sci-fi nerd. I got Doctor Who and that off of him. And War of the Worlds.
Right, okay.
War of the Worlds, like the musical, the Jeff Wayne musical. And we walked in one day and there was this... And
the animated series.
Again, which is, if you ever get a chance to watch them, that and
the animated
the next
series
one,
is worth it.
The New Adventures and Batman Beyond. Is that the next step?
Batman Beyond.
So watch them. They're very, very good.
Yep.
But yeah, and we walked in and I heard a lot of these and that the soundtrack, which is where I get a lot of the soundtrack from. I love soundtracks.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Batman was what it was, the Danny Elfman soundtrack. And I heard the soundtrack before the film, watched the film and loved it.
Yeah, Danny Elfman, like, obviously I always go, like, top of my tree is, like, John Williams, but then Danny Elfman is, like, he's there and I'm like, oh my God, he's made some absolute...
See, now, again, with you, that's the night, because of course Danny Elfman did
a lot of people won't know what Danny Elfman
did. The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And
before you hear it, you're like, oh, he did that, did he? Oh, he did that. He did that.
Beetlejuice. Dumps. That's Danny Elfman as well. Yeah. Edward Scissorhands would be Danny Elfman, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff he's done. Grinch, I think.
Yeah.
Loads of stuff. But I now find myself, I've got something to film that I follow directors. I will know a composer by the music I'm hearing. Yeah. And that, which I'll get into.
There's loads. Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2.
Did he do Spider-Man 1?
He did Spider-Man 1 and 2. Yeah.
Mars Attacks and Sleepy Hollow. I love those films.
Yeah, The Simpsons as well, you're right. Yeah.
He's a tad bonkers as well, isn't he?
Yeah, when he married to... But you've got to be, though, ain't you? You've got to be to make, like... You're not that creative if you're just like a Bob Standard person. Like...
Yeah, no, that's true.
He's 71 now.
I don't know what you mean, though. I'm creative. I'm normal.
But, like, no, because, like, things like a movie from 1958 and stuff like that. Like, that is, like... That's not... Like, most people are just like, yeah, I'm on my phone. I watch 30-second clips.
Oh, don't.
For hundreds of hours.
I'd never get that. I think that's what kind of kills kids' minds a bit.
Yeah.
A 10-second TikTok videos.
Yeah, and watch 100. Yeah, so they won't watch this potentially 5-hour video.
They'll
watch 500 hours worth of 10-second
little
clips.
Bits, yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, but yeah.
Not 500 hours, 5 hours. We're not
That's
here for 500
lot.
hours. Yeah, I have not got that much time.
Or battery.
Yeah, or battery. So Batman was my first B.
Yeah.
Have you got a...
Well, I think I've got the James Bond franchise, but I think we're going to pick films, aren't we, as we go through. Mm-hmm. Yes. So Bond franchise, everybody knows, based off of, I think, around about 14 books that was done by Ian Fleming, who was himself, did work at some point.
World War II.
Yeah, he worked during the war as a spy. I think his
brother might have been a spy as well.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I also know that I think, brilliant English man.
Yes, yeah.
But I think he met Christopher Lee. Yes. Christopher Lee knew him as well. There's some brilliant links for Christopher Lee.
And the place where he wrote most of the books is called GoldenEye, which is the name of one of the movies. The one that fired away. I think it's Jamaica. It is the GoldenEye, where GoldenEye is. I think it's in Jamaica. It's in the Caribbean.
The island.
Yeah.
The island of GoldenEye. Yeah,
I think.
But again,
it's in Jamaica.
Linking back to where we were.
Yeah, literally, that looks exactly like somewhere you would write loads of books.
It's
like Love Actually. The scene out of Love Actually, when all the paperwork goes everywhere. Yeah, it's that.
But it's one of those things where, again, this entire series of stuff. I mean, GoldenEye really did fire it back up again
for a new generation. Well, there was a 6-year period between
License to Kill and GoldenEye. There's quite a bit.
So you had 6 years worth of anticipation.
I don't mind Timothy Dalton as a Bond.
No, You
At
asked
all.
me or my brother. We love Timothy
Yeah,
Dalton.
Timothy Dalton, I think is great. Also,
I've actually got one of.
people-
I've got. At least one of his movies on here. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
he's also a Time Lord.
Yes.
Because he's actually part of the Gallifreyan
Yeah.
Lords.
Bad guy though.
Yeah.
He's a decent bad guy, Timothy Dalton.
He is a very good bad guy.
I like Timothy Dalton. He's serious, isn't he?
Everybody will sit there and go, why are you saying about bad guys from Doctor Who and everything, when in actual fact everybody knows it's Hot Fuzz that we're talking
Yeah, and we're going to get there. Don't worry.
He's the best, but here comes the fuzz.
Yeah.
He's got the best line of the film in that one.
Oh,
But yeah,
that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Love
But
Hot Fuzz.
I think he's great in that.
Yeah.
That kind of thing with Bond,
Yes.
bearing in mind, I think
The
it's
longevity of it as well.
the longevity and what
1962.
we've got out of it, considering he only wrote, I think, about 14 novels, and 2 of them, I think,
Yeah.
are short
After
stories.
that, it's like characters based off Ian Fleming.
Well, yeah.
James
So I
Bond.
think I can't remember his name. I'm sure it's something like Charlie Higson or something like that. Did like Young Bond or New Bond stories. There are a lot more novels now written by other people in the Bond format.
Right.
Again, but yeah, those ones that he originally were. And again, another film that I don't know if you've seen, but I think is great because it's a flip side of what we know as the superhero kind of thing. Brightburn.
No, Brightburn.
Brightburn. So the kid.
2019.
The kid has powers,
Right.
but he goes bad.
Oh.
Rather than being
Yeah,
a
American superhero horror film.
yeah. So rather than being a kind of like, oh, it's a superhero film, it's not your typical superhero film.
Okay.
He's like flying with red eyes, and you're like,
Yeah.
he's a bit.
When you type into Google, it's like the first thing you see is like the trailer. He's got red eyes.
Yeah, it's great.
He's been infected with.
Oh, he's not happy.
Any other bees? I've got 2 other bees.
Go for it.
Blade. We mentioned it earlier.
Where's the snipe monster?
Wesley Snipes. Yeah.
I had heard there was going to be a remake.
Well,
Because there is a series,
he's in,
isn't there?
He's in spoilers. He's in. Not that I've watched it, but you know these things.
Yeah.
Obviously, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes.
He does a cameo in that.
Yes.
I
love it's actually him playing it as well.
It's great. Wesley Snipes. Yeah, you have to have the original actor, don't you? But yeah,
What were you like with?
the Blade movies. Or...
No, with what's it coming back as Batman?
I did watch that.
Michael Keaton.
Yes, yeah, Michael
Yeah.
Keaton in 1989 and 92.
Yeah.
That was in the Flash movie, wasn't it?
Yes.
I can't remember what they actually...
Everybody
Was it just called
wet
The Flash?
themselves. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But everybody wet
Yeah,
themselves.
when I saw that, like, the yellow...
Yeah. You do it as the
yeah.
original logo. It was like, oh, hello.
Yeah. No, I'm for that. I'm for that.
What do you reckon about Affleck and Pattinson?
Affleck, no. Robert Pattinson, probably my second favourite.
I haven't actually seen that
What?
one. No,
You've not
Pattinson,
seen The
no.
Batman?
No, I''ve not seen it, but it's
Right,
meant to be
okay.
like. It's meant to be
you've
like.
spouted loads of ones at me.
Right,
you need
hang
to
on.
write it down.
I have got to
circle
write
it.
down.
There
Right.
are a couple of people out there that haven't watched The Batman. It's
But it's meant to be like a proper noir.
Oh, it's
noir
like
classic
the
detective.
detective
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah, which is where
you've got the like
Which is
all-out
very graphic
punch
novel, isn't it?
Batman.
Very like detective comics.
Yeah,
it's
you've
very
got
much
the-
as he was written.
the talking / negotiating Batman, and you've got the detective Batman.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's Batman is able to do all 3 really, really well.
Right, I'm gonna
Whereas like
have to
Keaton's
watch
one
that.
doesn't really do much of the investigating side, but
No.
he just
He's very
just
much the
oozes.
80s Batman.
He oozes
Yeah,
Batman.
yeah.
Like Keaton's my favourite. My order is Keaton, then
Yeah.
Patterson.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's like probably
Yeah.
Bow. But like you go with like a Bruce Wayne and Batman, like,
Yeah.
who can do both. Whereas Patterson's not really had time to like.
No, he's only
get-
done
get-
one film, isn't he?
Yeah, get his Bruce Wayne better.
Yeah. Get
like,
his Bruce on.
get his Bruce on. Whereas Keaton had 2 movies to get his Bruce on.
Yeah.
I
love how Dark Returns is.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love the
Like,
filming of it.
when I first said
love
it, like I said, the Batman 1989.
yeah.
Like Returns is like right up there with it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying it's like there's a massive gap.
Yeah.
The gap starts when Forever
Yeah.
came out. and
You will
then-
notice as well that there are years where films were just great.
Yeah, 1993 when James was born is like the best year. Like
Yeah.
if I
Oh,
showed
there's
you
loads of
1993 movies,
Yeah, there's loads of stuff.
Like, we're gonna
Early
get
90
into these.
Again, 1991, what we were saying. That's.
like, look, just have a look at some of them. You think to yourself,
Do you know
"Christ."
that one?
No,
I will tell you about that in a bit when we get to that.
but
What else we got? Yeah.
That
yeah.
even. And you think to yourself, oh my God.
Oh, there are some. Do you know what? The best thing I can tell you ever, if you ever have 2 hours where you're sitting there thinking, I can't be bothered to move, I can't be bothered to go to the pub, I can't be bothered even to go to the toilet, I might just wet myself. Do yourself a favour. Netflix, whatever you're using, there could be DVDs that you haven't watched and you're like, oh, it was £1, I thought I'd have it, or whatever. Watch them. There is an off button that you can turn it off and stop if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Watch them, because I know there are people who've come back to me.
You're just talking movies in general.
Yeah, movies in general.
Yeah.
There are people who've come back to me and went, that was bloody brilliant.
Yeah.
And they'll now follow stuff.
I think a lot of people, like myself included, like just type in IMDb's 100 best movies and work your way up and just
work your way through it. Oh,
and
we
if you're
love a
like
list.
half hour in that shit.
We love a list.
Yeah, we love lists that go on for like so long. Right, we've got about 4 minutes of B. We're gonna leave it on B.
Yeah,
and
what
we'll
I will
start
mention,
on C.
what I will mention with B is a few that I adore. Back to the Future trilogy.
Yeah, I've watched the first one.
Yeah,
I've not watched the other two.
absolutely adore them. Again, there's
I enjoyed it, but I feel like that's a sort of like Harry Potter. It was your
but
younger
at the beginning,
self
that's what I was
movie.
saying. There's a different segment, and that now there's a couple as well that I will say that Blade Runner.
Oh yeah.
Love Blade Runner, and that follows on.
I was literally about to say Ridley Scott, but I don't know if it is. I don't think it is Ridley Scott.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
But another one of those things where there's about 38 like different editions of it.
Yeah,
but again, that follows
and a remake or sequel
2049.
Or,
So you got 2049 where is it Ryan Gosling? I can't remember.
Yes,
Someone
I think it is.
actually goes to find Deckard.
But Barbie.
Rick Deckard,
Barbie can be in B as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can be. Doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be.
It did very well.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Fair. And I've heard it's actually not that bad of a movie.
No, it's not. But it's another one of those ones where a lot of people will go, novels into films aren't great. He's Ryan Gosling. It follows a book which was done by a sci-fi writer called Philip K. Dick, and the book was called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And it became what we know as Blade Runner. And there is this kind of little stigmata, isn't there, of novels from books. If you really want the story, read the book.
Yeah. Game of Thrones is a massive one for that.
Again, read the book, but Blade Runner, I'd probably say, is one of the ones where it's as good.
It's easier to consume the media through a movie than a novel. Yeah.
It's easier to do. But every now and then I would say read the book. But Blade Runner, I would say, is the one that's really, really not a bad version of the novel. Couple of things as well. Big Trouble in Little China. I love John Carpenter films.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've got at least one John Carpenter. I think you know which one it is.
And things like which started a load of stuff as well. Talking of Disney films, The Black Hole. Have you ever seen that?
No. The Black Hole.
Another one of those things where I think it's you. It might even be a PG
1979?
Yeah, 1979.
It's Disney. It's
And
right on the top.
And it's based...
Another disaster with a boat.
It's in space.
Oh, it's in space. It looks like a boat.
That's the Cygnus. And basically, there's the baddie in it. I would say your baddie's a robot called Maximilian. And he's an evil little sod. And it's one of those Disney films where people are killed in it, the crew are zombies and everything. And it's when... Ooh. And it's a Disney film when Disney was...
It's on Disney Plus. You can watch it.
It's an awesome film. And the ending, unless you're on mushrooms, doesn't make much sense. But watch it.
It was, at the time, the most expensive picture produced by Disney.
They put a lot of money into it. And they had big people in it.
It did okay domestically.
Yeah, but I think for now you wouldn't get away with it being as a Disney film. Because, I mean, there's a scene in it where Maximilian... who's the robot, is flying across, and he's red eyes and everything. He's an evil little sod.
You know it's evil.
And he's got rotors on the end of his arms. And he goes into this bloke and chops into this bloke.
Oh my God.
And throws him into the side of the engine part on the bridge of the ship. It's dark.
Yeah.
As a Disney film, I mean, I loved it. It's like, but it's like ships, space, ghost ship, that kind of thing. And, but... Oh, it's brilliant.
I've only got one more B. Have you got any other Bs?
I've got ones for just mentions. Blair Witch, which, of course, obviously... is your found footage kind of really fired that
Blair
off
Witch
again.
Project, yeah.
Yeah, Blair Witch Project, which again fired all that off again. Beverly Hills Cop.
Yes.
Brilliant, cracking
movie.
set of films. And one that I think kind of sums up, I put Blazing Saddles. Mel
Right.
Brooks
Is
films.
that to do with horses?
It's kind of a western,
Yeah.
but it's not a western.
Right.
It's really, really
Yeah, 'cause
clever.
I think Saddle.
It's one of those films that knows it's a film, so takes the piss out of it.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Yeah. But yeah, that was pretty much it.
Well, that was A and B, guys. We're only 2 letters out of 26 in, so we'll see you.
But some of the other letters haven't got much on them,
exactly.
really,
So we'll see you in the next one.